Hey y'all, this is Crystal. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel I talk about book stuff, I talk about stitchy stuff, sometimes some other stuff. Today is a book stuff video. It's a weekly wrap up. It's the weekly update and where I just talk about my reading for this past week. Happy New Year, of course. This will be the first sort of full week of the new year. We're talking about my books, and New Year's going pretty good so far for reading anyway. I did go back to work this past week, so that wasn't very fun, but we did have a snow day here in North Carolina on Monday, so that delayed my son's school starting back because it's North Carolina, so when it snows the whole state shuts down. And so that we had a snow day on Monday. It was gone by the afternoon. I know it's really cold. Anything else? I think that's about it for the week. Back to normal stuff, back to school, back to work, all that kind of good stuff. So, and back to reading. So I finished a few things this week, and it was some good stuff. So first up, I did finish Flowers in the Attic. This is part of Kelly Hooked on Books. She's doing a V.C. Andrews kind of read along for this year. We're going to be reading through the Ganger series first. So of course, Flowers in the Attic was up first, and I think I mentioned in my TBR, but I'd never read Flowers in the Attic. I've never read any V.C. Andrews. I don't know why, really, as I saw these books all the time, but I saw the movie, a million years ago, and really didn't remember too much about the movie. I knew the gist of the story, right? The kids are locked in the attic, that kind of stuff. Like, I knew the gist of the story. But speechless. This book... This book is wild, okay? It's like everything you ever I think thought it would be is this book. So if you don't know what this story is about, we've got a family, a mother, a father, and 4 children. There are 2 kind of older children. What are their names? Chris, who was the oldest son. I think he's about 15-ish when we first meet them. And then we have, what's the oldest? Oh, Kathy. I think she's about 12-ish when we first meet her. And then there are 2 young twins. What are their names? Corey and Carrie. That's right. They're about 5-ish when we first meet them. And right there in the beginning, the father passes away. And the mom is like, "Ooh, gosh, I'm destitute now. I don't have any money. I have no skills to work. I'm absolutely helpless. What am I going to do?" And then she's like, "I'm actually from a really stinking rich family. But my father disinherited me for reasons. And maybe, he's really, really ill. Could die pretty much any day. If I get in his good graces, perhaps he'll write me back into the will. Catch is that he doesn't know that I have kids and can't know that you guys exist. So I'm going to take you back to my parents' house, but you guys are just can you just hang out in the attic for just a couple of days? He's going to die any day now. The guy's on death's bed. He's knocking at death's door." And they're like, okay, I guess, And then those couple of days turn into 3 years. 3 years these kids are up there. And locked away. Oh my gosh, it's awful. So the woman, the wife, the mother, is telling him these things that he's still hanging on, he's not dead yet, blah 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 blah. And then her mother, their grandmother, is this evil bitch who only gives them brings them up food once a day. It's you gotta make it last for the day. Is very strict, physically abusive. these kids go through some shit, and it is horrific. It is awful. It is awful. Now, one of these sort of scandalous things about this book is the two oldest kids. They grow like 3 years, of course, through this book. They are dealing with teenage hormones. They're dealing with just the situation of being locked in this attic, finding out their grandma's a crazy woman. Their mom's like, don't even know. She visits them less and less, over the years. Things. There is basically a rape scene between the oldest son and the oldest daughter. It's icky. It's icky. I'm not gonna lie. So just know that it's there, of course. If you didn't know that. But Lord have mercy, I was enthralled with this book. I did listen to the audiobook. There is a 40th anniversary audiobook edition narrated by Mina Suvari, the actress, who does a fantastic job with this story. I was like, on the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to these kids next? What can possibly, what else is gonna happen, right? I'm so glad I finally read it. Honestly, I really am. I can see why it's just scandalous after all of these years, and it's a horror story. I mean, it definitely is of what these kids deal with, the psychological torment. It's awful. It is awful. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the second book, but I will be eagerly awaiting that in February as we make our way through this series. So, Flowers in the Attic, I'm glad I read you now. You were pretty good. So, that was a pretty good way to start the year. And then I dove into Later by Stephen King. This is the Stephen King read-along book for January. And I ended up liking this one a lot. I really did. I pulled the audiobook up for this also. I forgot to write down the narrator. I'll try to put it in the notes. I'm trying to make a more conscious effort to write down the narrator, and then I forgot to go back and look that one up. Anyway, so this one, it's one of his newer books. Did it come out last year or 2020? I can't remember. But we follow, we have a young kid in this one, Jamie. And Jamie can see dead people. And as is mentioned in this book, not like that movie, right? But he can see dead people. And he lives with his mother and in New York City. And one thing I loved about this book was the relationship between him and his mom. It was very touching, endearing, very heartfelt. They had a really wonderful connection, and that was really wonderful to see. His mom, though, also gets involved in a relationship with this lady named Liz. I think her Liz. She's a cop, but she kind of uses Jamie to kind of help out her own career, because she might not be the most ethical of cops, if you know what I mean. And so she kind of pulls Jamie into looking for this serial killer kind of person, and story goes from there. I won't, of course, give too much away. And I really liked this. Like I said, I was just really pulled in. It was really a coming of age type of story, which I love a good coming of age story. We follow Jamie through several years, of his life, and really as he's kind of telling this story, he's like in college, so he's kind of looking back, kind of on his life and all of the events that have occurred to him because of this thing that he can do of seeing dead people, right? And I just really enjoyed this. I thought it was really well done. Very wonderful characters. King does characters good, right? We know this. I really loved Jamie. I thought he was just a really wonderful character. I loved his mom. Like I said, he has this connection also with this old neighbor of theirs, which is also really sweet because he's kind of an elderly man. And yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. There was a reveal at the end, though, that I thought was totally unnecessary. And it really brought it down for me a little bit. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why King felt that was something that he needed to do. But it didn't, for me, it didn't do anything to further the story. It didn't add anything to the story. If anything, it took something away from the story from me, because I was loving this. And I maybe would have given it a 5-star rating. But that ending definitely, like, not the ending, but like that one reveal at the ending. If you know, you know, kind of thing. I don't want to give anything away. So that was kind of a bummer. But overall, this was very enjoyable. And the audiobook was fantastic. So another audiobook win. So overall, it was good. The one little thing at the end, like. And then, let's see, I dug up the New Year's Party by R.L. Stine. This is a Fear Street book. I'm reading this for the Kelly Hooked on Books' book club from Hell. from Hell book club, where she reads, like, you know, older horror books. And I thought this would be fun to read, New Year's Party, you know, for the new year. And I also have not read a single Fear Street book, so this would be my very first Fear Street book. And it was fun. I mean, it's an R.L. Stine book. I read some Goosebumps, and it's kind of set up in the same way, where these chapters end with this, like, horrific event, but then it's, like, pulled back a little bit in the next chapter. You know, she fell off a cliff. And the next story's like, oh, but she's fine, you know, kind of thing. Anyway, it's dramatic, but it's R.L. Stine, right? You know what you're gonna get. It was a fun story, you know. The whole gist of it is, like, this group of kids that play pranks on each other, and then, like, some of the pranks go too far, and there's a story of revenge and all of that. So it was fun. It was a good sort of palate cleanser from the incestual story of Flowers in the Attic, and it was just a fun little in-between book to read. So, and plus I got to take part in Kelly's book club, so Kelly is a pal of mine. So yeah, those are the books I finished, and you know, pretty good start to the year, I would say. Very enjoyable. So I've got a few things in progress, though. I actually have quite a lot of things in progress because I'm making my way slowly through some things. But I picked up She Said Destroy as my short story reads. This is by Nadia Bulkin. I am flipping loving these stories. They are strange and dark, and just my kind of, this is my cup of tea. These stories are my kind of thing, and I am loving them. So I've got a few more, and I think I'll do probably a little book chat about these stories once I finish, because they're fantastic. But I'm just doing a story a day, and I'm enjoying working my way through it that way. I'm also making my way slowly through these Anne Sexton poems. This is all my pretty ones. I can read just like a poem or two a day, making my way through, and these are wonderful. Also, a lot of focus on grief, death, loss. Yeah, very, very good stuff so far. Really enjoying these. So, yeah. I'm also slowly making my way through Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is part of the little read-along that Brad Proctor is doing. And I'm kind of following his lead here and doing the chapter a day. And I'm just kind of, just slowly making my way through the story. And so far, so good. I'm enjoying this. Really, it starts off, of course, Harker is making his way to Dracula's castle. So we've been introduced to Dracula and figuring out what he is and all of this stuff. And we've met Mina and Lucy and yeah, enjoying it so far. It's been really easy. The language has been fairly easy to digest and understand some of the vernacular for this one character was kind of like, what? But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying slowly making my way through it. Let's see. And then I did start The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. This is for my little book club I have with some friends of mine. And not very far into this one, I think I'm up to chapter 5. Yeah, chapter 5. I've just made a start on this one, so. And this one is pretty intriguing so far. We are set in 1883, and our main character is Daniel Stapleton, and this takes place in London, and he comes home one day. He works out of like a telegraphy office where he takes in incoming telegraphs and then kind of disperses them, throughout. And he comes home one day, his little one room, little apartment that he has, and he sees this pocket watch sitting on his pillow, and this starts an adventure for him, and he's just now at the point where he's gone to meet the watchmaker to try to figure out what is going on here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing on with this. This will be my focus for the next upcoming week, along with my little daily reads, but this will be my main focus for the next coming week, to try to get some progress on this, because it's a library book, so I like to get them read and returned, just in case anyone else, wants to check it out. So yeah, pretty good week. I'm enjoying things so far. I mean, really, what more can you ask for, that you're enjoying the things that you read, so, it's good. What else has me? I did make a list of some short story collections that I have. I didn't think I had that many, and I ended up with a full list. A little bit on a second page. But I wanted to know what I had, because I'm really enjoying just working through short story collections, story a day kind of thing. And so I have a lot to choose from for this upcoming year, and I'm super excited about that. Plus, I love making lists. Anyone else a list maker? I enjoy list making. I did want to mention that I kind of joined up with another challenge, because I don't know if you follow Reggie Reads on Instagram. I love following him. He's not a horror guy, but I enjoy his content on Instagram. He's got a bunch of followers. He's a big guy. He's a big name. But he does a challenge every year. Well, I don't know how many years he's been doing it, but 10 books, 10 decades, where you read books from any of the past 10 decades. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this year, because I'm trying to read some more classics. I mean, that whole thing, and trying to get books off of my shelf, that whole thing. So let me think. I feel like I'm missing a couple, but I don't know where they are. But anyway, I want to just really quickly go through my list here of things that I pulled for the different decades. So for 1924, I'm going to finally read Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. I've never read Mrs. Dalloway, and actually I think I've only read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, which seems a shame. So gotta do better with that. From the 30s, I'm gonna finally read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This is from 1932. Super excited to finally dig into this one. Oh, my hair is anyway. From the 40s, Wisteria Cottage by Robert M. Coates. This was reprinted. Got this in a Nightworms just last year before on the show. Reprinted from Valancourt Books. Sounds like a really cool psychological story, kind of scary story. And look at that amazing cover. Yeah, so that'll be from 1940s. From 1950s, I had On the Beach, which now I don't know where I stuck that one. I thought I stuck it right here, but anyway, On the Beach. That's from 1957. Let's see, did I have something from the 60s? Oh, this is the only book that I don't actually own a copy of on my shelf. all the rest are books I own, which I'm trying to work on, and that'll be The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Looking forward to that. From the 70s, I'm going to finally dig into Hell House by Richard Matheson. That's from 1971. From the 80s, shamefully, but I will finally be reading The Color Purple by Alice Walker, because I've never read it. And from the 90s, I don't have this one up here, but I'm going to read The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, because of course I am. From, what am I missing? From, let's see, 2003, I'm going to read Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. And then from 2014, I'm going to read Beautiful You by Chuck Palahniuk. That book's downstairs on my Chuck Palahniuk shelf. Is that 10? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be fun, I think. Work your way through the decades and read some older books that, sometimes you don't always gravitate towards. So I just wanted to mention that challenge as something fun. If you wanted to do it, I will link Reggie Reads on Instagram below. If that's something that you're interested in, to tackle 10 books for 10 decades. And yeah, sounds fun. I think that's it then. I went crazy at Barnes & Noble, the half off, hardback sale. I'm not going to show those. It's embarrassing the amount of books I bought. But that's okay. I've done good with not buying any books so far. I've made it to the first week. Okay. I lied. I did get, no, I didn't purchase this, but I did win a giveaway over on Paper Cuts. They did a little holiday show, and Megan Lucas was one of the guests on there, and I won a giveaway from answering a question. And so she sent me a copy of Songbirds and Stray Dogs, which I've been dying to read since I first heard about it. She signed it for me. She also sent along this book by Sharon Thomason called Something Beautiful to Remember, which really sounds lovely about this woman. I think she loses her husband, and then just kind of going through that, dealing with that loss. Sounds really wonderful too. So thank you, Megan, for sending me that. And I got something else. I got Waif from Samantha Colden. I ordered that a couple of weeks ago, and I finally got that in the mail. I don't know where it is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just talking to talk now. So that's it. Let me know how your reading year has started off. Have you finished your first book yet? Was it a good one? I hope so. Thanks as always for watching, putting up with my rambling. I always appreciate it, my friends. And happy reading, and I'll catch you in the next one.